Welcome back to another episode of Sports Dan Podcast. You see Justin with me, so you already know we're going to get into this college football. So let's get into this college football rankings real quick. So, Justin, what are your thoughts for the college football rankings?
First and most obvious thought is the fact that Bama jumped Notre Dame, and that's just not being a fan. That's just in general. Like, I feel like that's the most notable thing. Even Reese Davis said it up on the show last night when he asked, I forget the guy's name, the committee representative, what their thought was in that process. Overall, the rankings didn't, but to put that on the side and say this overall first, overall, the rankings didn't change that much past what we expected. A&M lost. They dropped to that 7 range, which we talked about. Everyone else behind them moved up. Like, that was pretty much it. The only thing that's super notable right now is it looks like there's going to be a lot of Big Ten teams in that top 4, probably, most likely. That's what it looks like is going to happen. But and they're going to be if Texas Tech loses, it looks like there's going to be 3 Big Ten teams getting a bye week in that first playoff round, which because Oregon's going to probably pop up into 4. But other than that, like I said, the biggest thing that felt like something happened was Bama jumping over Notre Dame, which I will say this: Notre Dame should have never been over Bama. We talked about that last week. They were talking about the run game and this and that. And then when Reese Davis asked the committee representative, like, hey, like, so what was the thought process in putting Bama over Notre Dame this week? They said Bama had played a tougher opponent in an away game and a rivalry game, which they valued a little bit more than Notre Dame going and beating Stanford. So, and they said that, quote, Bama ran the ball well and they played defense, and they said they really liked how we put up a bunch of points, like a lot of points in the first half, and felt dominant in the first half. Which I guess we can get into this in the rankings in like the reaction later, I guess. But like, once again, what is this committee doing? Actually, the things that y'all use to judge teams is just so random. Like, y'all don't have a rhyme or reason behind things. Like, Notre Dame shouldn't have been in front of Bama in the first place. Notre Dame shouldn't even be in front of Miami. I don't know if you've seen where they're putting up that graphic. Let me see if I can actually pull this up real quick. They've been putting up this graphic, bro, where they show all of Miami and Notre Dame's common opponents. The difference in how Miami has beat these guys versus how Notre Dame has beat these guys is not close. Here, bro.
Okay.
27-24, Miami won. You see?
Okay.
Common opponents, Pitt. Miami beat them 38-7. So a touchdown more. Common opponents,
Stanford scored that late touchdown. Stop.
That's what I'm saying. But like, still, Miami is beating all these teams way worse than Notre Dame is. And Notre Dame is like 3 spots above them. So once again,
no, we're not doing that.
I don't know what the committee does.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Bro, I don't know what the committee does.
We're not doing that. You can't. No. From that point on, Notre Dame has looked like the better team, bro. We're not going to sit here and count.
What does that mean? Miami has gone and beaten teams. The common opponents that they've played, they have beaten them worse, and they beat Notre Dame in the head-to-head. Does head-to-head matter or does it not? That's my problem.
So why Oklahoma is ranked ahead of Vanderbilt?
Why is Oklahoma in front of us? Why is Notre Dame in front of Miami if they lost to head-to-head? If head-to-head doesn't matter, put us over Oklahoma. Put Bama over Oklahoma right now. Do it right now.
No. I'm not giving you that. I promise you I'm not giving that.
That's real though. Like,
Oklahoma better than Bama.
No, I'm just saying in general. Like, if Miami beat Notre Dame, so that means they should be over Notre Dame.
They look like the better team. They have looked like the better team since that game. They looked more efficient. They played better brand of football.
And that's exactly why I said I don't know what the committee's looking at, bro. They go in there and they judge off of random things of the eye test of Bama didn't look like they ran the ball well, or they looked like they ran the ball.
So what you're saying is
they're judging on random stuff. What happened to strength of schedule and strength of record? What happened to those two things? You can't tell me that they're judging off of that head to head or strength of schedule, strength of record, because they have shown a million times.
Because here's the difference. People are asking why Vanderbilt is not in the college football rankings, like within the top 12. The committee has already said Vanderbilt doesn't even have a signature win. Their game against Bama was closer than their game against Texas. That's what they said, regardless of the score. I said that's a true statement because
Yeah,
if you watch that Texas game against Vanderbilt, Texas was BTN Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt made all of a sudden a great comeback. They lost the game by a touchdown. But regardless of the fact, strength of schedules and head-to-heads matters. But I think what separates certain teams is having a signature win. Alabama signature win, Georgia, Oklahoma signature win. You can say Michigan. You can say Alabama on the road. So it's like certain teams are gonna have that favorable that was that push over that other team because there's no other way to put it around it because strength of schedule matters. But sometimes I I saw this tweet earlier. Non-conference games are going to be straight cupcakes now because it's a non-conference schedule.
oh yeah, they've showed that. They
So
went
so
and rescheduled a bunch of games like
yes,
recent.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So if that's going to come to, we're just going to rely on your conference. Your conference teams have to win games. Your conference teams have to look good. So now the conferences are really going to matter even more. Now we're going to probably see an even bigger push from an SC, from a Big Ten, because now we're going to be so excited to see them play each other each and every week, and whoever comes out on top, that's number one team. It's going like this: SEC winner or Big Ten winner, whoever's on the feet at that time, 1, 2. And then the three through eight, good luck,
Mhm. Yeah.
cause it's gonna be straight war about who's gonna fit where, how this gonna work, how this gonna work. Because it's gonna like, oh, but they went over here or they went over this team. You're gonna see a division between who does the committee think is a better conference, the Big Ten or the SEC.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, I just like I said, like my biggest problem, either you value like stop I just want the committee to stop being hypocritical. Like you value head to head in some certain situations. It means something for Oklahoma, Bama, but it doesn't mean something for Notre Dame and Miami. Strength of record means everything for teams like uh or strength of schedule means everything for teams like A&M or strength of record or whatever, or their wins
Mhm.
and losses mean more than other people's wins and losses. BYU has a higher strength of schedule and strength of record than A&M, even though A&M's played in the SEC. BYU has beaten because A&M we saw like they've only played the bottom half of the SEC, so it's like it's not super strong. BYU only has one loss, and they're all the way 5 spots below A&M. It's just the way that they show what they value and then contradict it immediately like 4 spots later over and over is my biggest problem. Like that's my biggest problem with the committee. And then they come up there and when they start asking them questions, they don't have no real answers. They don't have no real answers. Reese Davis, Reese Davis asked him because he said the same thing I did. So if Notre Dame's behind Miami, Notre Dame and Miami both don't play this weekend. So
Yes.
he asked him like, hey, is there any chance that Miami jumps over Notre Dame following conference championship weekend, or is it that the teams that aren't playing this weekend are set in their spot? Bro gave the most PR answer ever. Anything can change after the results of the conference champions. We'll make a decision after conference champions. We haven't discussed scenarios that will be happening before that. Like, blah, blah. Like, dude, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that because you're not making no sense. Like, even when you do give a real thing that's not a PR answer, you're not making no sense. So
Yeah.
I'll say the biggest change in the thing was A&M. I was Bama going over Notre Dame, but like I said, that should have been happened. Notre Dame, in my opinion, shouldn't have a chance. They should be done.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's talk about this Lane Kiffin situation. Uh, this Lane Kiffin situation. All I gotta say is I get why college football means a little more something than NFL. Cause this right here, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a situation I have never seen before a day in my life. Like we seen Sabins, we seen Kirby Smarts, we seen all these great coaches leave universities to go somewhere else. But the way Lane Kiffin did it is the way he has a reputation that he has right now.
Yeah.
You basically told your offensive staff, if you're not on this plane by, let's say, 3 o'clock, you will not have a spot on my staff.
You won't be here. I promise.
Basically, you're gonna bet on yourself, or you can be like, gosh, like I gotta go to Baton Rouge. Like how I'm gonna tell my position group, how I'm gonna tell the players. And the thing is, when that statement went out of Lane Kiffin saying what he said about how he told players, and how they reacted, even though they wanted me to coach, you see a whole bunch of Ole Miss players reply said, "That's not true. That's not how we
I saw
responded."
that. I don't know what actually happened, but I did see that where there was a lot of Ole Miss players basically saying like, "You did not give this message to us. Like this message that you just posted is not what you told us." So
But thing is though, if people go look into it, I don't think he even said anything to the players. He talked to the leadership council for the players, and he basically talked to them like, so what is it? But then the report said it was a very passionate conversation. Kiffin just had that, and then he just left to go to the airport. So it was like this. Lane Kiffin knew he wanted to go to LSU. He just didn't know when he was able to go because he wanted to stay in Ole Miss to coach the playoffs, and then after he wants to leave. But the AD was like, "Why give these recruits, these players, false dreams that you're gonna stay?" And we prolonged the situation all the way up until conference championship weekend.
for real.
Like, why are we dragging that out? If if you're going to LSU, just say you're going to LSU. And after the egg ball, you're leaving. Cool. No one's going to be mad at you. You tell your players, hey, I said the offer to LSU. I love you guys. You guys meant so much. We created history. You guys keep doing what you're doing. But for me and my family, we're just going ahead. We're going to go, and I'm going to take this step into this new opportunity. Okay, cool. No one's going to be mad at you for at least communicating that. But if you came and communicate that message to your players, it makes you look sad, bro. It looks sad. And then
Yeah.
the college football uproar from this situation, we had everyone and their mother talking about this situation. I'm getting texts from my mother who doesn't pay attention to LSU or Ole Miss because she doesn't care because she's a Georgia fan. All she worry about is Georgia and how can Georgia beat Alabama. So, like, when I see this, I'm like, bro, what? So I'm seeing Kiffin doing all this. I'm literally saying to myself, Kiffin,
He's
the
wilding.
like the reputation you have now, like you rebuilt your reputation so good at Ole Miss, and then just to backstab them like that.
I'll say since he got to Bama, he was rebuilding his reputation because everything went down with the Raiders and USC and Tennessee.
Yeah.
He had a few plays where it wasn't looking good. Once he got to Bama, Saban started, what I'm saying, doing his thing with the coach rehab, bringing guys in and then putting them back out. But you'll see, I think a guy posted on TikTok, and I know a lot of people don't fully understand or know this story, but as a Bama fan, like it's not fully surprising he did this before. Like, like he did this
Yeah.
before to us, right before the national championship to Bama. Like we were
Mhm.
going into, I forget what exactly year it was, going into that national championship. Steve Sarkisian on the roster as like an offensive analyst because we knew Lane Kiffin was most likely leaving. Plus, Lane and Saban had been clashing heads literally all season long. Like, because Lane wants to throw the ball and do all this fancy stuff. Saban's a very traditional guy. If we don't run that ball, like there's an issue. So they were clashing all season long, and it finally got to a boiling point where it was like Kiffin wanted out no matter where he was going, so he chose Florida Atlantic. Well, Florida Atlantic basically told him like, we want you as soon as possible. You know what I'm saying? But Kiffin did have a choice to be able to stay with us. But whenever Saban found out that Kiffin had went and accepted a job behind his back without telling him, he said, "You
Yeah.
can leave now." He said, because you're not focused. You're not paying attention to what we're doing and trying to. This was like literally, we had already like we were getting ready for the national championship. We had already won everything. This isn't like we're playing a playoff game. We're playing SEC. Like we knew we were
Yeah.
playing that national championship. And
Mhm.
then now we got Sarkisian a week into being an offensive coordinator trying to go out there and call plays because Kiffin left us high and dry. So like I'll say this isn't super surprising, but I agree with what Saban says. I don't know if people saw that video, like how we talked about yesterday. This is a
Mhm.
bigger problem with college football. Like the schedule and the timing of how college football works is atrocious. And It's because you got the early recruiting window in December. Well, what does that mean? We need to have our coach in here because we don't know who we're recruiting. So now we got to hire guys right at the end of the season before the playoff and the conference champions. Like it's a timing problem. It's a timing problem. They need to have a true off season. This is where we do everything. This is where we get free agents, because that's what it is. Whether you want to call it or not, this is where we do free agents, transfer portal stuff. This is the time for that. This is the time for this. Here's our 2 recruiting windows. But you can't do that. Like, all that needs to be happening after the national championship. Like, I don't know why we're trying to do it. And I won't lie. Well, I know why. The biggest problem is that the early enrollment window, because you got to think these are student athletes, so you got to still enroll in the classes and be there on time to do that and everything. So then they have to kind of push these windows ahead for these players who want to graduate early and then come to school in the spring semester, like freshmen who start early in the spring. So it's kind of because of that. But I won't lie, these are all things that you could work around. Like, these are all things that you could work around. Like, this is so easy to work past if you have real conversations of trying to solve anything. And then once again, I'm not gonna harp on it again, but this goes back to that committee. What decisions do they make? Y'all are so worried about who's gonna be in the playoff and your viewership and all this other stuff. College football is literally falling apart from recruiting and coaching wise. There's no loyalty in anything anymore in college football at all. Like, bruh. But yeah, that's what I got to say about the Kiffin situation. I think it's absolutely hilarious that he brought his whole entire offensive staff with him, and didn't bring any of his defensive guys, and then Ole Miss appointed Pete Golding as their next head coach. Hello, what are we doing? I think that's hilarious. They're gonna fall off. They're gonna fall off. And then all them players are talking all that mess about Lane Kiffin. Them the same players that gonna jump in the portal next week and be with him at LSU. Like, stop talking. I don't care. Like what are we talking about? Like, y'all on socials talking all this and that. Are y'all focused on the playoff? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Kiffin left, and that's it is
Yeah,
what it.
Tom. I feel like this. I feel like this. I feel like Ole Miss, their players. You gotta let them have at least. You gotta give them some grace, bro. The guy that recruited you, you've been there. Say you've been there for 2-3 years, bro. And he don't tell you face to face like I'm leaving. He just gets up and go, and you have to see it through social media, bro. You gotta let them boys like at least express their emotion for a little bit.
I can understand that, but bruh, now is the time to lock in. Y'all need to be telling Pete Golding he's the man, because I don't believe in him. He's gonna go up there and
Oh man. Look, bro.
That's why Lane sent back what's his name, Charlie Weiss, because he was like, bro, go save that man Pete, bro. He knows Pete don't know what Lane Kiffin. They have a million clips of Lane Kiffin screaming at Pete on the sideline from the past 3 years, because he's been doing this, bro. Like, Pete is not a good coach. They left him high and dry. Like, that move by Ole Miss was for sure just like a band-aid of like, hopefully these guys don't leave if we hire a guy that they like, that they know and like, which was Pete Golding. Like, he's been there for a while. Which some of the defenders might stay, but I won't lie. Like, just like that offensive staff, I expect a lot of those offensive players to be in LSU, purple and gold next year.
Well, I mean, shout out to them, bro. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. That's all for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.